Hey team, welcome back to Ross Spec. If you've been following along, you know that I don't like to do things in halves. And in 2025, that included breaking almost every car I owned. Well, this isn't a woe is me video. Some of it's just regular car ownership, and some of it was I probably should have known better. But I thought it'd be fun to sit down and talk about what broke, how I broke it, and how I could have probably done something better. Come on, let's get into it. First up, my BF XR8 Ute. This thing hasn't had much love this year, which means one of two things. It's been perfect, or it's been quietly plotting against me. In this case, it was the second one. The Ute's main job this year has been towing Robin, and honestly, it's been doing a rock solid job doing that. But it had developed a slightly funny bearing noise. Sitting in the driver's seat, sometimes it sounded like it was coming from the front left. Sometimes the rear left. Every time I had a passenger, they swore it was the rear left. Turns out, it was both! So I ended up replacing both the front hubs and only the left side axle bearing, because I'd already done the other one when I first bought the car. Then, the $50 second-hand roof liner I bought when I first got the car finally gave up and sagged. I was going to retrim the original one I pulled out myself, but I ended up tripping over a completely brand new roof liner for just a bit more than the materials I needed. So that was an easy unbolt all the fixing and trims holding it in, pull the old one out, then slide the new one in. Then there's my FGX XR8. Talking about sagging roof lining, this one in typical fashion has sagged too. Luckily though, that's literally the only thing that's gone wrong with this car all year. And to its credit, it stepped up big time. While the i30 was away getting repaired from being rear-ended, the FGX went back into regular daily service, which meant school drop-offs, train station parking, and shopping centre car parks, which is basically the most dangerous environment you can put a car in. But it handled it like a champ, saggy roof and all. The i30 took almost 6 months to come home again, and when we finally got it back, we decided to take it out west to my cousin's cattle property for her birthday. On the way, we pulled over at a restaurant, and in the driveway there's what looks like a puddle. I could have driven around it, but instead of driving on the wrong side of the road, I just went through it. Turns out it wasn't a puddle. It was more of a hole. The front bumper got caught on the way through, split the under tray, and hooked the front chin, damaging that and the red stripe. At the time I was absolutely gutted, but thankfully, Hyundai basically builds these things like Lego. Everything clips off and clips back on. The biggest pain? The red stripes. Even though most i30 comes with red stripes, they come unpainted. So before reassembling the front end, I had to paint them myself. It's fixed, it's back together, and you'd never know. But yeah, that one was my fault. And then my FG FPV GS. This car is awesome. It only has 500 rear wheel horsepower, which sounds hilarious to say out loud. But let me tell you, 500 at the rears in this thing is completely unusable on the street. I've had a couple of Mustangs making around 450 rear wheel horsepower, and that doesn't feel like enough. While 500 is a nothing number these days, I don't know how you can use more. The problem is, with everything else going on last year, I haven't driven it much, and that wasn't helped by the fact that the rear diff bushes need doing, and the engine mounts are starting to go. They're not catastrophic, the car is still fully drivable, but when a car is already angry, little things like that are enough to make you go, yeah, maybe not today. The XC Fairmont Hardtop? I've always wanted a hardtop, and I'm genuinely so happy I bought this one. It's a good honest car with a really lovely family story behind it. For the first month, I was using it all the time. Weekend cruises with the family, just enjoying it. Then one day, moving it in and out of the shed, it stalled. Cranked, wouldn't fire. Story of my life. Luckily the old boy was there, because it turns out it had blown an added fuse in the ignition system, hidden in a spot where I never would have found it on my own. In chasing that, we found the real issue. The module in the distributor was blown, and the distributor had the wrong shaft in it anyway. So I bit the bullet and bought a new MSD ready to run distributor. Why? Because I've always wanted one, and that's what I grew up seeing under the bonnets of cars at car shows. The broken distributor almost looked brand new, but the coil looked like it had been in there forever. We figured that could have been what killed the distributor in the first place. So we replaced the coil too, initially with the only direct swap one I could get on the day, and later I changed it again to a matching MSD unit. With it running sweet again, I took it home ready to go to a Cars and Coffee. And the power steering hose let go in the driveway. One of the most annoying jobs you can do, rolling around on the floor. That was the moment I got a bit gun shy about taking the family out in it. She hadn't made me walk yet, but when that day come, I didn't want it to be with everyone in the car. So the rest of the year, I just kept her going. There were a few little things that popped up, The temp gauge stopped working, but that was just a wire that fell off. The tacho did pretty much the same thing, and it was leaking coolant, but it was just a loose hose clamp. But I got to fulfill my promise, taking the previous owner's son to his high school graduation. And I might be biased, but I reckon he had the best car there. Totally random moment too. As we're pulling in, some bloke in an 8.6 starts doing donuts out on the street. Not even going to the graduation, just a loose unit. And on the way home, I drove her in the dark for the first time. While I checked all the external lights work, I quickly found out that none of the dash lights do. Driving by feel. The 2024 Dark Horse? I haven't broken this one, but it arrived broken. The plastic trim around my rearview mirror was loose. I mentioned it during the Peace of Mind service, and they looked at me like I was insane. But when I picked it up that afternoon, they agreed it needed fixing, mostly because they made it worse. Instead of just being loose, it wouldn't clip to the windscreen at all anymore. I could fit my fingers underneath it. At the same time, I told them the bottom of the driver's seat shifts back and forward underneath you. Apparently the fix for that was replace the entire seat base. So it went in again to get both fixed. But they ordered the wrong seat base. No ETA on the correct one. Lucky the mirror trim is fixed though, so hopefully it arrives before the first service in February. And my 2021 Mach 1. I had an absolute blast putting this up against the Dark Horse on track. Unfortunately, as the day went on, the conditions changed, I didn't really read them correctly, and I ran out of talent. Then I put it into a tyre barrier. At the time, I genuinely thought it was game over, but after a proper inspection, it turned out not great, but way better than expected. With help from the old boy and my mate Damo, we fixed all the mechanical damage. It's running, it's driving, now it just needs some panel work, and it'll actually look like a car again. And let's not forget Robin, my EL race car. Considering the absolute thrashing this thing gets, it ran all year with very little drama. We added front flares for more tyre clearance, then I chucked on an old under tray from the Ute, and I was genuinely shocked at how much speed it picked up just by cleaning up the airflow underneath. Huge difference. Also made it way nicer to drive by pulling out the mini spool and fitting a mechanical LSD. And while it managed to go sub 1 minute on the sprint track, the extra load finally killed the clutch. It's slipping now, so yeah, clutch replacement is coming. So yeah, that's the list. Some bad luck, some wear and tear, and some probably I shouldn't have done that. But would I change anything? Nah. I don't have any of these cars just to look at, and when you drive as much as I do, stuff is gonna happen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with what I'll be getting up to this year. And until next time, remember, there's more to going fast than going fast. Catch you later.